Here's a look at a recap of your markets on this Wednesday, the 19th day of November. Saw some feedlot trade develop today ahead of the cattle and feed report Friday, as well as falling futures once again today. So we had some guys start swinging some gates, albeit at much lower prices. 22,425 head as of the 2 o'clock cutoff time. Texas, 1,045 head at 224. Kansas, 1,632 head at 222 to 224. Iowa turned in 6,036 head with a live price range from 215 to 219, dressed at 340 to 347. In Nebraska, they turned in 11,534 head, 215 to 219 on the live side. Dress sales 338 to 347, mostly at 345. Box beef cutout values today were lower. Choice down another 72 cents at $371.23. Select down $1.40 at $353.55. Those values based on 179 loads of cuts, trimmings, and grinds. The Choice Select spread at $17.68. As mentioned, we got that cattle and feed report coming out on Friday. We don't know if we'll get any of the numbers from October or not that we missed. Of course, we would like to see the breakdown of the steers and heifers, but it is fairly unlikely that we will probably get those, and more likely we'll be waiting until January before we get any of those numbers. And of course, the reason those mean anything to us is we would like some kind of confirmation on whether or not we're seeing any herd expansion or rebuilding happening or not. Pre-estimates for the cattle and feed had the on-feed numbers, 97.7 for the average estimate among the industry. Placements, of course, that's the biggest number that always has the most likely spot for surprises. 91.6 was the average guess, and marketing's at 92.3. Around the auction barns today, Windsor Livestock Auction, they're not quite done yet today. Getting along awfully close, though, not having near as big runs around the state this week as last week. There at Windsor, expecting about 1,400 head today. Most of the offering underneath 700 pounds compared to last week. The feeder steers and heifers selling stayed at $10 lower, some spots up to $15 lower on some 6 to 650 pound steers. The feeder steers, 4 to 5 weights, 447.5 to 510, 5 to 6 weights at 380 to 460, some 6 to 7 weights at 360 to 387. Feeder heifers, 4 to 5 weights, 390 to 435, 5 to 6 weights, 353 to 390, some 6 to 7 weights, 347.5 to 370. Closing livestock futures for the day. December live cattle, 216.30 down 372. February 217.25 down 360. April at 217.80 down 352. November feeder cattle up $1.07, 341.85. Of course, that contract's just got a couple more days to trade before it has to meet up with the CME cash feeder cattle index. Currently, there's about $2 difference there. The rest of the feeder cattle contracts all sharply lower today. January down $4.60, 321.45. March down $5 at 313.40. Lean hogs for December up 95 at 78.85. February 79.02 up $1. April 83.07 up 145. Turning our attention to the grain markets at the elevators around the state on Wednesday. Corn bids 7 to 8 lower. Beans 17 to 20 lower. Wheat 9 lower. Milo 7 lower. Corn bids at the elevators in St. Louis, 445, Kansas City 424. Beans in St. Louis, 1145 to 1151. Kansas City 1071 to 1111. Wheat bids in St. Louis, 510 to 558. Kansas City at 511. On the Board of Trade, corn for December 7 lower for the day, 429 3/4. March at 441 1/2 down 8, and May 449 down 7 1/2. January beans 1136 1/4 down 17 1/4. March 1144 1/2 down 15 3/4. May at 1152 1/2 down 14 3/4. Wheat for December, 9 3/4 lower, 5.36 3/4. March at 5.49.5, down 9.5. May 5.58.5, down a dime. Soybean meal for December, 3.1890 a ton, down $8.10. Soybean oil for December, 51.10 a hundredweight, down $1.07. With the Missouri Department of Agriculture, that's a recap of your markets for Wednesday. This is Tony Hancock.